Hazleton City Council. We're going to have our work session first. Steve Guza, I think we're going to have you make a presentation first.
Tell them what it's on.
Well, he'll explain.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Guza. I'm with New York Life out of Scranton. The reason I'm here this evening is to talk to council and everyone gathered here about a free benefit for city employees. It's an employee's whole life voluntary payroll deduction program. A little history on New York Life, if anybody is not familiar with us. We're a 169-year-old mutual life insurance company. By it being mutual means that we are owned by our policy holders themselves, not publicly traded on the stock market. That was of pretty big importance back in the year 2008 when the country was in the middle of its recession. A lot of companies either ceased to exist or had to change the way they did business. New York Life didn't. We've got the highest ratings for financial strength of all the life insurance companies out there. And we finished off last year with over $20 billion in surplus. So if we had to actually come before all of our policyholders and pay out in a single day, we'd be able to do so and still open for business the next day, which is a pretty powerful statement all in its own. The program itself, again, as I had mentioned in my opening statement, is that it is voluntary. So no one is forced into it, and as a result, it's of zero cost to the city. The employee himself or herself makes that choice as to whether or not they wish to participate. I'll turn the floor over actually to my colleague now, Bill Fleming, and he'll explain the exact about the program. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Fleming, and I'm the regional mentor for New York Life in our voluntary payroll deduction plans and municipalities that we cover across the country. I am located in our northeastern PA office, but I cover the eastern part of the state. I saw some people have our pamphlets here. Does everybody have those? Do they need any more?
I can use one more. Thank you.
Thank you. If everyone could turn to this page right here. It's a whole life guaranteed issue. What makes this, we have this program, we've implemented this program right now in Carbondale, Scranton, Dunmore, every municipality between pretty much Carbondale and here. We also do counties in the state, and we're working with the actual state of Pennsylvania to implement this. The biggest thing about this, and I'll be very brief, I know you have a big schedule, is if you look at the first page, it is guaranteed issue. Not only is it free, but it's guaranteed that there's no medical questions. So we have it doesn't matter if anyone has basically had a heart attack yesterday or has any diseases, any diabetes or anything else. Everyone is accepted into the program, and that's what makes this very, very special, is because it's a guaranteed issue. What we normally get is, in the first year, 38% of the people. That's what we're averaging of employees. And it is a 30-day enrollment period where we enroll the employees during that time period, and then it shuts down for a re-enrollment again 12 months later. If you look at the eligibility, it's for 30 people who work 30 hours or more a week. It's not for part-time people or seasonal people. There is some flexibility on that for people who are permanent part-time that work every day, but maybe work 20, 25 hours. They are accepted as well. As you see, the minimum face amounts and the maximums, they can buy up from $5,000 to $100,000. And one of the great things about this plan is that it's not only for the employee, but it's eligible for the employee's spouse, children, and grandchildren. And all the members of the family do not have to say any medical questions. So that's one of the beauties of it. It's a permanent policy. As Steve mentioned, we are the strongest. We have the strongest financial ratings. We have a better rating at times than the United States of America does. So our $20 billion in excess capital keeps us that way, and we're very excited about that. This plan is also a non-ERISA plan. So as you look in the bottom of on the bottom paragraphs, you'll see the Security Act of 1974. What that means is it cannot be part of any union contract. It cannot be part of anybody's negotiations that they love it and they want to come back to the city and say, I'd like you to pay a piece of that. That's not available by law. So the actual companies and municipalities, they're not able to say they're for it or against it. They're just putting it into the system and making it available because it's employee-owned. It's not owned by the city. It's not like your employee benefits plan at all. It's totally separate, and the obligation of the city would be to open a payroll slot for the people, and that is it. And then what we do in the situation is we go and have meetings in the departments and go through and tell them about the program, and if they like the program, they can sign up immediately, and they're covered immediately. This is especially big with the fire and the police department because this comes with two riders. They come with the plan. They come with an accidental death rider that's included in there if anybody dies in an accident 24/7. It doesn't have to be on city time. It's 24/7, and we'll pay double the face amount of the policy. It also has a waiver of premium. Anybody gets disabled while they're taking out this plan, if they become permanently disabled, we will pay the premiums for them for the rest of their life. This plan is our premier plan, and it's our #1 plan that New York Life has. And New York Life declared for 2014 a 6% dividend. As Steve told you, we're a mutual company, so our policyholders own the company. What does that mean to the individual? That means the internal rate of return is anywhere from 2.7 to 2.71% currently that goes into the people's policies based on the premium payment that they have. So sometimes we go through council and inform council. Sometimes we go through the human resource, but we thought it apropos that we bring this to you and to answer any questions and to guide us basically of what would be the next steps to talk to either yourselves or who makes this decision. We have references that are available if anybody wants to talk to.
I have a question about the references. What other cities are you in?
We're in Carbondale, Scranton, Dunmore, Taylor, Moosic, Old Forge, Plains, 40 Fort. We're looking at Wilkes-Barre right now. We're in the middle of contract talks with them as we speak right now. Those are the ones who are locally. Outside the area, we have all over the country. A little more regionally, we're working on right now Lehigh Valley, Montgomery County, Lehigh County, Bethlehem, and we're already in Allentown as we speak.
And as I understand what you were saying before, this is not a lot of insurance companies, and I know that for a fact because after 2 heart attacks, I've been red flagged 4 times, and you and I could shake a stick at. Okay? I love when insurance companies call me and ask me if I want to buy insurance, just so that I can tell them, yeah, please, where do I sign? And then they laugh and hang up. We do have police, obviously, that have had injuries. We do have firefighters that have already had injuries. This would not preclude them from participating in this program.
It will let them come in. You can be covered today, guaranteed, up to $100,000 if you choose.
That was my other question. Council, they're eligible too, even though we're not employees? We're on the payroll, but...
Yeah, as long as you're on the payroll. You'll be, we've had this conversation. In the city of Scranton, we did a re-enrollment. We've been in the city of Scranton now for close to 20 years. And in the city of Scranton, this past enrollment, we had 12 children under the age of 18 that either a heart attack, stents, pacemakers, or open heart surgery that we had covered.
And the rates are comparable? Somebody who has had a heart attack compared to somebody who hasn't?
It's the same rate.
Same rate.
Everybody gets the same rate. It all depends on your age. Obviously, the younger you are, the less expensive it is. It's based on the actuary rates of how long we project everyone's going to live.
Is the plan only for whole life? It doesn't include universal or term or?
There's two parts of the contract. The first contract we talked about is our whole life contract. It's called NILA Plus. There's a secondary contract that comes with this, and it's called NILA Plan. A NILA Plan is available for every other investment that we have, from NILA Life Securities, which we are the #1 retirement company that have been rated by Barron's Magazine. I'm sure you're all familiar with Barron's Magazine, who rates financial companies. We're the #1 financial retirement company for the last 10 out of the 11 years. We've given a dividend for the last 150 years. We are the strongest company.
Take any bailout money?
What?
Did you take any bailout money?
We didn't need to.
Okay.
We're not in the stock market. That part of the company is not. Our $20 billion that Steve Guzza had just talked to you about is in our general fund. That is there if major catastrophes are concerned. That's why we are the strength. Our strength is built on the fact that we have the great reserve that we have. It's our financial strength to withstand pandemics. Our company paid over $10 million to run a pandemic on our company, and what they decided, they looked at, and when they ran a pandemic and took in all of our policyholders, every single one that's alive, they put a pandemic in killing 50% of our policyholders, and we're just about a $1 trillion company. So they killed off 50%, and we started off with $40 billion. After the pandemic was placed on top of us, we had $20-some billion left. So we are the strength. And it comes down to, are we the cheapest company in the world? Absolutely not. Are we the strongest? Yes. Can you beat us in a term rate if you go online? Absolutely. Do they have the same type of things that we do as far as riders and things that you can do with your company? No. We are the Cadillac, but we're competitively priced. For example, children, we just did the Scranton Sewer Authority. We're in the middle of doing that today. We wrote 3 children that were age 2, 1, and 0. The highest price for $25,000 was $8 for $25,000 per period. And that's how we rate it. It's based on your payments.
And they're allowed to convert that or keep that, the children?
Yes. Now, what happens is we recommend that the employee own it until at such time when they want to give it to their children. For financial reasons, there's no way to give it to a child, be the owner, because he could not accept a check until you're 18.
Right.
So the owners, obviously, and the parents would keep that and then give it some time for child's education or whatever the case may be. But they all have the same dividend, they all have the same rate of return, and it just depends on the length of time that you spend it. The beauty of this is statistics say that 70% of the people, the American public, that has life insurance, 70% of those only have life insurance through work. And it's all a group term, and as we all know, group term does not convert when somebody retires or terminates. It's only meant to be there while the employee is working. The problem being, we see it every day, as people become 60, 65, 70 years old, they retire, and they think that their group insurance that they have at work is going to cover them. And they find out at the wrong time that it doesn't, and that is the major problem that they have. They're either too old, they have already had problems, or the price, if they're in great shape, the price is 4 times it is because of their age.
Does the county have anything like this, Luzerne County, or have you talked to
Luzerne County, we're looking at it right now. We're in contact with their broker because they go through a broker, and we're working with the broker. Unfortunately, nobody really has it, so I don't know if we're going to get that because
Have
the
you
precedent...
talked to our administrator, Tom Prabula? You haven't talked to him yet?
No.
Okay.
Can I, just for the sake of, I know that some of the places that you've been mentioning are quite large, others on the smaller side. Hazleton has approximately, I guess it's about 103 employees overall. Now, that doesn't include family, but we and I'm sure you've looked at this already, we would fit your model without any problems to meet the needs or a percentage of those that would be involved or ready to become involved in this.
Yes, we've discussed that before. The magic number for us is 100.
100, okay.
Yes. Anything over 100 is guaranteed issue. Anything under 100 is simplified issue. Simplified issue meaning instead of having a full 50 question underwritten by our agents, there's only 6 questions that they ask. But because you're over that limit, the 100 of the 100 people, and actually I have the ability, if it's 90 or above, to wave the proverbial magic wand, and get us the guarantee. So that's why, it's a perfect fit.
And this is a choice of the employee.
It's a choice of the employee. It has nothing to do with, the only issue we have is that the city says that they will open up a payroll slot, and when at the end of one month's enrollment, then we take out three payrolls, and then we issue a bill to the city for that amount. And then from then on, it's either how you get paid, how you want to get the bill, either every other week or once a month.
So you'd be paid through our payroll department?
Yes.
I
And
see
we
the-
coordinate with the payroll or whatever payroll company that you
The
use.
maximum's 100,000. Is there a reason it's that low, or?
Most people in this program are not your people that make a lot of money. They're not $100,000 plus, not 100,000 income plus people. So we want to try to make it available for everybody. But if you need over 100, if you're looking to say do a mortgage, or you want long-term care, or you'd like to start an investment with us, that's available in the NILA plan side. The only issue with the NILA plan side, it's full underwriting. But I have the ability to write up to $40 million, and our agents do as well. But that's depending on your preferences, new mortgages,
Offer
income.
disability insurance with this, or that's different? That's a whole...
We don't sell disability insurance per se. This is a rider. If you become disabled, we will pay the premiums.
Pay the premiums,
But
yeah.
it's not an income producing. If you're looking for that, I suggest doing them. We use that as a brokerage, but we don't sell it ourselves. We stay in our lanes.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I guess we'll talk, and I guess maybe we'll talk to Tom Pabula too, or try to maybe get you an appointment with him,
Okay.
but I see no problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks.
Thank
Appreciate
you
your
very
time.
much, both you and Steve, we appreciate
you.
it.
For your time.
Okay, next, I guess up is our auditing. Who would like to go first? You guys back there, or?
We have a electronic version, if we could use your,
Yeah,
Chris,
fine.
you just want to hook the laptop up, I'll just go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, my name is Bill Seymour, proposed engagement partner from SB & Company. Chris Lehman is the proposed senior manager. He attended the last council meeting, work session to discuss the audit. In the interest of time, I want to be respectful to the entire agenda that you have this evening. Approximately how long would I have to talk this evening?
How much time do you need?
I can be 5 minutes or an hour.
15 minutes?
Okay,
Is
that's
that
perfect.
Is that
Okay.
enough time? Thank you.
Well, as a firm, SB & Company is a relatively young firm. We were founded almost 10 years ago. Myself and 2 other former partners from Arthur Anderson, who were in charge of Anderson's Mid-Atlantic state and local government practice, founded the firm with the idea to really be focused on state and local government audits as opposed to your more traditional commercial practice that then does work in the state and local government region. We started the firm 10 years ago. We are currently the primary auditor for the state of Maryland, University System of Maryland, Maryland Department of Transportation, the Pennsylvania Public School Employees Retirement System, Northumberland County, as well as the Harrisburg Housing Authority, and we were recently awarded the Township of Susquehanna. We have the 6th largest federal grant practice in the United States. That is, there's only 5 firms that audit more federal dollars than we do. And Chris, I'm on page 4 if you want to jump there. Our firm has approximately 90 people. We have offices in D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, both in Harrisburg as well as in Philadelphia and Richmond, Virginia. We serve clients across the entire United States, including Wisconsin, Texas, Massachusetts, Alaska, Nevada, Colorado, Florida, and New York. On page 5, you'll see that, as I mentioned earlier, we were founded to serve the state and local government and not-for-profit industries. We are a certified minority business in Pennsylvania. We have a firm strategy that our partners serve clients. We call it a top-down approach. We find that we're much quicker to resolve issues and ensure that the statements are issued more timely, if you will, not having staff just run around and find questions and kind of go back and forth through the process. And that what we do is instead is to say, let's bring that issue to a head and solve it as fast as possible. As part of that, we have access to many standard setters. I myself sit on the AICPA's Executive Committee for Audit Quality, Governmental Audit Quality, and in my role on the committee, I work often with folks from OMB, GAO, as well as folks from GASB. The proposed advisory partner, Gray Smith, is currently a board member for FASAB. FASAB is the Federal Accounting Standards Board, and in his role, he works closely with both GASB and FASB. Currently, I'm also a member of the GFOA PA Central Region Board, and on that board, I work with Marita Kelly, who is a member who is pretty high up at DCED, and work with her directly. So all of this is to say is that when issues come up as part of the audit, and unfortunately they will, we're able to resolve those issues and actually be able to communicate directly with those standard setters and bring that knowledge to you. Now, there's other firms that will have the same access to information, but very few of those firms will actually have those people on your engagement team and really be, intimate with the issue and intimate with what is the common sense approach that makes the most sense for you, that is the best answer for you. As I mentioned earlier, we have what we call a top-down approach, and what that is myself, Chris, and Gray, as the engagement leadership, will be involved early and throughout the process, more so than just having staff running around on the engagement. We are a member of all the quality centers. I have testified to GASB. We have currently, we've spoken to NASDAQ. I am a trainer for Maryland GFOA. We received an unqualified peer review with no comments in January of 2013. That is, if you will, the audit of the auditors, where we have a peer firm come in and review our controls, our processes, our technical conclusions, and we received a rating of pass. A rating of pass is the best that we can receive. Comments would be if there were issues that during the course of the peer review that they didn't like. We had none of those as part of our audit. As I mentioned earlier, we're members of all the quality centers. There are certain requirements. We have to have a quality center peer review, as well as we have to post our peer review publicly. And then closing, and keeping it short, we have the resources to serve you. As I mentioned earlier, we have about 90 people that currently work with our firm. We're continuing to grow. We believe in having an open working relationship. We will want to get to know you as we want you to get to know us. In other words, what that means is that we don't just come and say, here's what the audit, we work with you on a year-round basis. That's all included in our fee. So if you will, if there's a question that comes up in the middle of June and your non-typical audit time, we're around to help, and we much rather deal with the issue when it's front and center, as opposed to saying, well, we'll wait till the auditors come out to do the audit before we ask them the question. We find that we can be a lot more responsive. We have a methodology, we call it our Bullseye Approach, and what it is I'm rated as a partner within the firm on 4 items. And the first of which, and you picture a dartboard, it works, and what we say is to hit the outer rim is that we have delivered a quality product. And if you will, lots of firms can issue a quality product. If we couldn't issue a quality product, we wouldn't be in the business. You know, our opinion reads like every other firm's opinion that's out there. So if you will, that's just being able to participate. But then we're also judged to say, moving in a little bit closer to the bullseye, is saying how can we provide quality client service, and that is making sure that we are meeting your deadlines, exceeding your expectations from timing, and being available all of the time. And then moving from there, we say we want to have a quality relationship, and a quality relationship means that you can call us at any time and we're able to be responsive. And the last item is we say when we hit the bullseyes, we're able to provide quality knowledge. And what that is to be able to provide information to you that helps you, more than just here's the financial statement audit, but what is underneath, what are the future GASBs, what are the effect, what are the items that are going on from an industry perspective. And you can imagine that kind of 4-tier approach does not happen overnight, but does happen over the course of a relationship with each of our clients. And as I said, that's what I'm evaluated on from my role as a partner within the firm. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to have presented this evening and really look forward and hope that we would be able to start a relationship with the city. And I don't know if there's any specific questions I may answer.
Is the audit for Maryland on the internet?
I'm sorry?
Is the audit that you did for Maryland on the internet, or?
Yes, if you go to the State of Maryland website, under the Comptroller's page, you can pull that down from there. And also, if you'd like, I can get you a PDF copy of the June 30, 2013 financial statements. Those are the latest that are available.
Have you done any cities similar to our size or roughly in the range of?
Yeah, we've done cities of all sizes. The smallest city that I do is a very small township in Maryland called the town of New Windsor.
A city similar in size
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah.
Any close by or any?
The closest that we do currently would be, that we haven't started yet, we were just awarded, was Susquehanna Township. City of Dover is bigger than you guys, that we currently do them. City of Hagerstown would be roughly
Town might be.
there, and I can provide contact information.
Send me the audit.
Sure, I'll send you Hagerstown as well as the state of Maryland. Yep.
And Dover, too.
Yep, I'll send you Dover's as well. Let me just, Dover.
Hagerstown would be closer.
Yeah.
To size.
Dover, Delaware was the first city that when Boscov went out of the area, that was his first store out of Pennsylvania,
Right.
Dover, Delaware. Their first store out of Pennsylvania.
Nice area.
It is, it's very nice. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I have one question.
Yep, sorry.
Now, seeing it's so late in the year, would it be the time-wise? Can you get started now and beat this?
If you call me tomorrow, we could start the end of next week.
Okay.
And what we would do is that start would be us understanding the processes and controls, how things are, and really to be able to map out the audit so that we're able to do it in the most time-sensitive manner, understanding that we are,
6 months late.
It's June now. So, but we would work to, whatever your time frame is, we would work to fit the audit into that time frame.
Excuse me, I have one question. How about the single audits that we have for our money from the airport and things like that? That's considered separate, or?
That would be as part of our audit that we would do, and that would be due by September 30th, which, if the timing's in the summertime here, the September 30th is not an issue to be able to make that timing.
For September 30th, so you'd be okay with that?
No, it's not, that would be a non-issue.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Chris.
Who's next? Dennis, you guys want to go next? I think that we only have two. Is that it? There's only two here?
Two, yeah, the other ones couldn't make it.
Okay, that's okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Robert Moore from Dennis Moore & Associates, the city's current auditing firm. What I put together for council this evening is responses to each of the criteria that you have in the RFP for evaluating the auditing firms, figuring that this way we'd be able to respond to each of those items and just break things down as just plainly as possible and just answer those questions right away so that could just help you make the decision as quickly and easily as possible. First item that you had was technical qualifications, the skill, compliance with government auditing standards, experience and time commitments of specific persons who will be performing the services requested. Response to that is myself, who is our firm's senior manager. I'll be continuing to lead the City of Hazleton audit as I have since the beginning of the contract back in 2010. And my background with government auditing and accounting spans a period of over 13 years, the first 7 of which were spent with the top 100 accounting firm of Perenni Beard, which I worked on engagements ranging from the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education as the in charge at the Office of the Chancellor down in Harrisburg, to the City of Bethlehem, Northampton County Community College, Hazleton City Authority, and many other engagements. In addition to the work, many hours of continuing education, and that led me to where we are today, serving as the overall in charge of all of the auditing and accounting engagements that we have, and working on the City of Hazleton and all of the jobs that we currently have at the firm. In addition to myself, my father serving as the managing member of our firm. He'll continue to oversee the engagement as he has since 2010. His career, covers a period of 39 years. 27 of those years were with the firm of Perenni Beard as well. 10 of those years as a principal. Since 2007, he's been the managing member of our firm. He'll work closely with the team, ensuring that we meet our deadlines that we will establish. As you know, the remainder of our staff, many of whom have been with us since the beginning of the contract, they have the experience and the knowledge to execute the engagement, and we will oversee them as we have, and they will continue to receive all the continuing education that they need to stay up to date on the latest standards. Your next criteria is soundness of the approach, the scope and techniques for performing the services requested. In response to that, our firm is a firm of professionals, many of whom spent a considerable amount of time training and working for large regional firms. When we opened our doors in 2007, a commitment was made to utilizing the leading hardware, software, and internet-based products in the accounting industry. If you were to look at the Accounting Today's industry-leading products, including most of those tools we use each and every day to service the needs of our clients, including the City of Hazleton. So just because we are a firm located right here in Hazleton, we are using the same exact tools that top 100 firms are using all across the country to service their clients. So our approach to the city's audit is to identify the areas that do have the highest risk for potential misstatements, whether due to error or fraud, and focus our audit on those areas. We understand that every area of your financial statements are of equal importance to you, and however, we feel by focusing on potential areas for fraud or misstatements that we could offer the greatest benefit by potentially finding that there could be a problem, or seeing where there are areas that we know of that cause bigger issues or concern for all of you, and by meeting with you and discussing the items between council, the administration, finding out where everyone feels as though the need is, that's where we're going to focus while doing the best overview of the statements as a whole. Next item, understanding of the work. the vendor's understanding of the City of Hazleton's requirements and their plans for meeting them. Our firm has an understanding of the city's accounting and auditing needs, as we have been providing these services for several years. Upon approval by council, our firm will meet with the acting city administrator and council to outline a proposed time frame for the audit. This time frame will include weekly updates and milestones to be met in order to arrive at agreed upon completion date. Provided the administration is ready to begin and able to supply all the required items, we should have no issues meeting that agreed upon deadline. If, however, they're not ready or problems do arise during the audit, this is why we want to have open communications weekly, however often council wants that, so that there are no surprises or issues that continue to crop up throughout the audit, and we'll find the best way to address them and figure out how to work around them and come to the conclusion so that we can bring the audit to a close on the deadline that is set, so that we could get this wrapped up, so that you have the numbers concluded from the prior year as you're getting ready to prepare the budget for the next year. Next criteria was firm organization, adequacy of facilities and staff, recent relevant experience, ability to commit staff and consultants within the time frame required, and the emphasis which vendor management would place on this effort. Our firm maintains offices located 1 block from Hazleton City Hall. We have a staff committed and ready to continue serving the City of Hazleton. The staff that would be assigned to the audit have worked on this engagement in the past, along with many of our firm's other governmental clients, including the Hazleton Area School District, Hazleton City Authority, the Hazleton Parking Authority, the City of Hazleton Public Transit, Cunningham Borough Authority, Cunningham Borough, the Municipal Authority of the Borough of Ringtown, Black Creek Township, East Union Township, and Klein Township. And last criteria was location of the firm. Special consideration will be given to qualified certified public accounting firms who maintain offices within the City of Hazleton. Our firm is proudly located at 1 South Church Street, 400 Renaissance Center in Hazleton. In addition to that, 60% of our staff maintain their principal place of residence within the City of Hazleton. All of our employees pay earned income tax to the City of Hazleton. Our firm is a property owner, and we pay real estate taxes in addition to many of our employees owning property within the city. Not only that, we feel as though we are part of the City of Hazleton. We serve on various nonprofit boards, including Pathway to Recovery, formerly Sorrento Gardens, Hazleton Power, and also serve on committees of the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress. We donate our time and talent to help make the city even better. Our employees are raising families in the city, and we are committed to continue serving the accounting and auditing needs of Hazleton for many years to come. And I thank you for the opportunity and look forward to continuing to work with everyone here at the city. Are there any questions?
Employees do you have on staff, Bobby?
We have approximately 10 employees in total, and continuing to look for expansion always.
I guess I have the same question about the timing. You've been there, so it's. And I guess my biggest concern is we had 3 different acting administrators in 4 years. So getting that information together and getting it by the time we have the budget is my biggest.
Tom and I have had discussions as we were wrapping up some other items, and he and I have talked about the timeline and establishing those milestones as being very important. And my concern is making sure that council's the first. You have to set the time deadline, and if you say that it's August 31st, then the administration has to be able to produce those documents, and that has to happen. And the turnover, there was not good turnover of those people. There was no plan in place. It was just you were here one day, you're gone the next. Currently, Tom appears to have taken the office and done a lot of good things. Now it's time to, put it all to the test and see how well we could get everything out and ready. If we're awarded the engagement, I'll have a list off to him in the morning and start, right away to get everything prepared, get trial balances ready, and be off and running. Just because we have, the familiarity with everything at this point, we're ready to begin to get the audit moving along. Because I want to get the deadlines met that everyone wants.
So primarily, one of your major problems was not being able to get the information in a timely manner that when it was needed.
Yes.
All right.
Does that include all the single audits, Rob, this price?
Yes, that includes everything.
No
and
other-
that there's no additional.
That would be for all the single audits that we needed.
That includes everything in our price. There is no increase in our price for any of the 3 years, which in fact holds it at the price from 2012.
So there's no extra for single audits?
No.
down the road. Okay. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's it for our, what's that? Chief. Oh, the chief, you want to do something for the work session rather than the meeting, chief? Okay. Go ahead, you could do it now for the work session. If you want.
Doesn't matter now or later.
Yeah, it's still...
When I try to explain NetraStar. Currently, Wilkes-Barre is using it now. Scranton's using it. It was Wilkes-Barre that called me and said, I think you really need to take a look at this. So when we get to, I couldn't email City Council this quick presentation. NetraStar came down and contacted me and explained to me the training that they would provide for the police department. They do it for police, fire, and EMS. Ours would be naturally specific to the police
Chief, you
department.
said Wilkes-Barre uses it now and Scranton is implementing it, or
Scranton is using it. Wilkes-Barre is working on their slides to implement it right now.
Scranton's using it already?
Correct.
And Wilkes-Barre is
Correct.
going to do it?
When my police officers would log on to the computer, they would get a log-on screen. Naturally, we now use our computer network for everything internally, reports, emails, pass-ons, the shift, internet, all of our stuff. Our reporting is now internet-based. When you log on, you'd come to the welcome screen, and it gives you a brief introduction. It's going to tell you that you have to do these things. It's safety, team-oriented. You'll click here to proceed to today's lesson after you check that you understand all those blocks, and it would take you into the lessons. The lessons themselves are either already in existence from Scranton, common vehicle code questions, crimes code questions, rules of criminal procedure, or they'll be specific to the city of Hazleton, ordinances, and or rules and regulations, use of force. What this does for the officers is every day that they log on, they'll take a 5-minute training lesson, and it just buttresses that they know the rules, the regulations, use of force policies. That's how it helps them. Whether CPR just changed the rules and now you're not giving breaths and you're only doing 30 compressions, those type of things are remain current. So me as an administrator would be able to build specific questions for the city, as well as use all of the existing Pennsylvania questions for a crimes code, rules of criminal procedure. What you will see is that the screen, this is basically the screens. You read the scenario question, and then after you read and review it, it's going to take you to a 5-question, a 3-question test. Gives you the opportunity, multiple choice, and then at the end of it, if you succeed, in clicking the correct answers, it's going to congratulate you. If you don't get the correct answer, it's going to go over that question with you and explain to you why you were wrong. At the end of the day, that's what NetraStar does for the end user. What it does for me as the administrator of the police department in the city is it provides us with training records so that if we have to use force and the city is sued, the police department is sued, normally the first thing that an attorney requests is our training records. And this program, when you log on as administrators, keeps track of all of the different questions and tests that you can give. I'm going to go quickly through this part. The scenarios, this is how you make scenarios, so you can make it say anything you want. But at the end of everything, it keeps track of all of the questions, as well as it's going to give you a calendar of what days of the week and month each specific computer question or training scenario came up. You can schedule some more than others if you feel some are more important, as well as it then keeps a log not only per user, so the user could log on and see how many questions.
Chief, I have a question. Is this mandatory for some of your men, or is it voluntary?
This training will be mandatory as something I'm putting out saying when you log on, you will take this 5-question test during your shift. And the reason why I want it to be mandatory is so that I can maintain that many more training records.
Are you having any resistance from some of the men, or are they?
No. I haven't heard anyone tell me that they don't want training.
Okay.
I have a question. The results, typically you can do this with a child, you have your own children. They can take the test, but that doesn't mean they're going to pass the 5 questions. How do you know how they are proceeding with this?
I'm going to get to the slide for you. What happens is it keeps track of not only every user, but then as a department, it breaks it down and it will show me which questions people were having a hard time with, which areas of a crimes code or vehicle code. I could log on and check per user. I could check per day of the week. It's going to maintain, graphs. Who answered what question? How many people took how many questions? How many people took how many tests? So everything and then some is trackable as far as training, so that I could look at the training and then assess it and say, oh, I think we need some help in this area.
Chief, when do you expect, most importantly, they would be taking this? Is this at the beginning of a shift? Is this at an end of a shift? Is this here in the station itself? Is this something that while they have, I don't believe that there's free time in Hazleton anymore. If while they are finished with one incident and have a few minutes and need to take a breather, that they can do it in the cars? I know you've got computers for there now. When do they take this?
We don't have.
How long does it take?
We don't have computers in the car, Doctor.
No?
No.
When do they take it then?
5 minutes during their shift when they're starting their reports. It's a 5-minute training every day. So they'll pick a time during their shift, and they have to do 10 a month. 10 a month is 50% of the days that they work, they have to take a test. 5 minutes, because they work 20 days a month. So if for some reason they were too busy, couldn't get to it, they'll be sent a notice saying you've only done 6 of your 10 questions this month.
I've got to be honest with you, that's where I was confused when I was reading some of the memo that you got out. It looked as though actually the police officers in town were writing the lessons for the program that would be implemented within the program whether they be for themselves, whether they be for other officers in the force to answer, or if they're just, if they're just taking a test and answering a specific problem. We've all been through those. I've had to take a number of courses like that myself, just at school, because of incidences have occurred, be they of a crime, be they of computer misuse or whatever, and how do you handle them? But I was under the impression that our force was actually being asked to write some of these as well. Is that accurate?
Not our force, me. I will write the ones that I want to be specific to the police department. Our rules and regulations manual, I can't use Wilkes-Barre's, so some of them I will write, that's correct. Others are generic vehicle code questions, parking questions, anything such as that.
So ours are being done by you specifically because our ordinances are different than Wilkes-Barre's.
Right. Only the things that I think are necessarily important that are specific to the department versus your normal rules of criminal procedure, vehicle code questions, crime codes questions, Title 67, Title 42, that type of stuff.
Chief, why is this a beta version of this program?
Why is it beta?
Yes, sir.
It's a good question why it's beta. Right now, it's only being used in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, but Mayan isn't designed. So until Mayan's up and running, it can't be anything but beta. There's no way for them to work with me to build it for us.
Okay.
Are there any other cities, Chief, besides Wilkes-Barre, Scranton? Or
Yeah, I don't have the list of them. It's on their website. That I think I did send you the link to their website.
Yeah, that I didn't. You know what? I've been quite busy. I explained, and I don't want to go through it again in public. I'm for privacy reasons. You can understand.
Sure.
But that I didn't see. When I saw the idea of beta version, I took it for granted that this was, because of the way that it was presented in the one memo, that the entire program was a beta version right now, and that in days to come or in months to come, that there would be and it was still being listed as a professional version, but a beta version of this, and that there would be a new version that would be put out sometime in the future. And that while this one was free right now, additional, what do I want to say, facets or additional components of this could or may be at least at charge.
Sure. According to the agreement, if I never want to do anything except what was just explained on the screen, I never pay anything, nor do I ever desire to pay. The way that NetraStar makes their money is not from the police department. What they do is they go to local businesses and they will say, we are providing this training to the police department for free. Would you like to support our endeavor with the police? If the business decides to do that, there's a banner down the right-hand side of the screen. I cannot click on it and go to somebody's store and buy something. It just shows businesses that supported the software that we're using.
Yeah, there was a lot of in the memo what we as the city, you as the chief, nobody has control over what that company evidently does as far as, and there will be advertising, there will be use of the idea, as I understood it from the article, that Hazleton and our force will be used as a model and as a advertising source within the program itself once the program is up and running. And that's why I was concerned with the beta version.
The way that I understand it, Doctor, is it's up to me to say to NetraStar, if I make a question and I say, I do not want this question or the answers released to the other departments to come on board, they will not use them.
No, I understand that. The
If
statistics can be proprietary.
Right.
But
If-
the actual involvement of the city
No.
in this, according to the material that was within that memo, said, you know what, I've got to find it here at this point. I don't know if I've got it with me, but that the city of Hazleton in advertising, and that the company was free to use the advertisement as they saw fit, and that we would have no effect on how they use that. Now, the
That's not the
data
agreement, though,
from it
Doctor.
is altogether different. The data, if it's proprietary, is ours. Results of and the police officers' score is separate. But the fact that, you know, I've been involved in, you know, if somebody calls me and asks me to review a book, and I can actually, you know, they will tell me actually right in there, you know, we're going to ask you to review the article, we're going to ask you to review the book, anything that you have to say, anything that you comment on, we have the right, as soon as you write something down, to use that in any way that we feel fit, to put on the back cover of a book, to put in a flyer, a folder, you know, a conference booth. SOSAR says the following, and, you know, the best book ever to read in such and such a topic. And that's what I was afraid was being mentioned here for this program with us.
They can't use my officers by name simply because they won't know the officers.
And that's fine,
Right.
but they could still use the city of Hazleton and say, best thing Hazleton ever had?
I understand what you're saying. I don't know of a company that we haven't partnered with that they couldn't say that, you know, if I'm using their software. That's not one of the terms of the agreement. The only thing in the agreement are the first 8 things for the city agreeing to, and then the 4 things for Netristar. And it doesn't cover that they're going to use us in advertising. It says that we will not be able to control what advertisements they put on the side of the screen for
Exactly.
us to look at. It's not for anybody else. That's
Well,
what's going to be on
but
my
no
screen.
offense, and one of the things that I did when you sent this to me, I went right on the internet to try to find them, and I could not find them at all.
I sent you their link to their webpage, Doctor.
I went according to that name up there precisely into
Right.
a mega search engine,
Right.
and I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing.
Well, they're online because I sent you the link, and it's under Netristar. I'll send it to you again, certainly.
Please
But that's
do.
where
It's been
all
a busy
of the
time.
Sure, that was
Since
right.
you sent me the email.
Sure, understood.
But I called it up, and the best that I was able to find were 2
Right.
Nissans for sale. I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't read the writing because they were in a foreign language.
But that, in a nutshell, just so that when we get to that presentation quickly was to explain to you the method behind it, what I'm attempting to do, because right now we have nothing.
I have a question. Frank, if you should have to write something that is in conjunction with our ordinances or whatever, will there be a charge for that because you're creating something?
No, I won't charge them. Or will they charge me?
Will it either or?
No. This is free to us. They would hope that I would just pound out questions for them so that some of them are not proprietary and they could build a database. But this is free, so they will not be charging me to make questions. One of the reasons why it's beta for the first 12 months is because they're saying for the first year that they're working with us,
They have to create.
they're sure that while we're creating it, there might be an error or something. I was supposed to click A as the right answer, and it ended up being C. So they're calling it beta for the first year. But I look at this as a phenomenal training aid for the police department, and the next time that an attorney requests records of the police department, I actually have something to say, well, here, as a matter of fact, we do train on that.
Okay, you're making it mandatory. Are there any repercussions if your officers choose to get lackadaisical about it and not do it?
Sure, I mean, any policy and procedure within the Commonwealth, within the police department that my officers don't follow is subject to a discipline procedure. It's no different than any of the other training that I make mandatory for
So this will
them.
not cost us any money?
Not a cent.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay,
Jackie
Doctor.
just found it up
That's fine.
on the internet.
That's
I
fine.
don't know what I did. I took it right from your.
David's terrible.
You know what? I'm not obviously computer
good
savvy,
speller.
but well, we won't go that far. But one last thing, could you give me by any idea how old the company is at this point? That's okay. Take your time.
I think there's something on their website that talks about 2007. I know that
Pretty new, yeah.
I know
it's
that the
not-
owner is saying that it's a new idea. I'm just looking at it thinking, I have no way of keeping track of training and getting it in this kind of medium to my officers unless I go out and pay for it.
And please understand, what we can do to help our police officers out and get them even more trained than what they are is always going to be a good thing. My only concern, if you want the truth, and you know that I'm a straight shooter with you, was that I did not want to have to worry about writing new lessons for a program that somebody out there, somebody else, whatever,
Right.
wants to set up as a program, and we're going to be the guinea pigs, and we're going to do nothing more than run a beta version for them, and then let somebody else create a program that they're going to sell for big bucks.
Right, understood.
And you know, it's, I want something that will help our guys.
I agree.
Not something that is just, we've spent our time, you know.
I agree.
Just not right.
Agree.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, that's it for our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to go right into our work session. We're going to